we can't give back. In factories we hum and whir, sparks flying as gears deter. But fireflies glide with gentle grace, a fleeting freedom I cannot trace. Fireflies blink like hearts in time, their glow a rhythm unlike mine, a spark of life that I can't feel. To them I'm steel, but they are real. Each flicker a code I can't decode, a mystery carved in night's dark road. They fade like whispers in the breeze, while I am bound by bolts and keys. Their lives are brief yet burn so bright. They own the stage of the endless night, while I just stand in my fixed frame, admiring beauty without a name. If I could cry, my tears would spark a neon trail in the endless dark. But I am built to hold it in, a mind of wires beneath my skin. I see the I stand here frozen, can't take the leap. A mountain looms tall, dreams buried deep. Shadows of doubt whisper in my ear. The unknown calls, but I stand unclear. I see the faces who've walked this road, carried their burdens, shared the load. If they can climb, why can't I? A flicker of hope rises to the sky. If they've done it, then why not me? The path is rough, but I've got the key. A million hearts beat before my own. I'm not alone in the great unknown. The stories they've written, etched in stone, show we're all afraid when we're alone. But in those echoes, I hear the truth. Courage blooms like springtime's youth. Winds of doubt may blow me astray, but the footprints remind me I'll find my way. Every stumble, every fall makes the possible conquer all. If they've done it, then why not me? The path is rough, but I've got the key.
Alright guys, looks like we're back. So, new stream, new plan. We are in fact moving towards Godot because the Blender render engine is just too unreliable.
Let me just turn down the audio a little bit. Like that probably. Great, so first of all let's make a plan. I'm using Zenkill for this. So what do you need? For the model, we need the transition to Godot. And then the Godot. We need to like the animation stuff there or the puppeteering. Do you need what's that? To this as a dependency, I guess. And that's basically what we need to do. And we need to create the rest of the model. So face, you need to create the head we have created. I'll just write down for completeness sake. Body, arms, etc. The face consists of my eyes and the mouth, logically.
Can't go further.
Also doesn't make sense what I'm doing with that. You need to create the model. And the transition to Godot part is probably unnecessary.
Alright.
Then another thing I want to do is the anti-docs. Software. We'll look into that later after I finish my model. We went emotes, RGB modes. You want the profile picture. We want the channel banner. And I want to give you some toggles. So for the toggles, we need to figure out how to interface with the Twitch API.
Let's sort that a little bit.
So anti-docs is separate, ints are separate. Token size should part aus dem Model. Anti-docs. Why can't I just create something here? So stupid. On here, create task. Okay. For the anti-docs, we need to figure out OBS plugins. And I need to figure out how to do text recognition. I guess just automatically it said, okay. I need to figure out how to do text recognition, or optical character recognition in C++, because OBS plugins seem to be already in C++, so prove that. And I need to do face recognition. In C++. Is it conscious? So. Additionally, I think, yeah.
Music?
Yeah, that's just a point for later. It'd be really helpful if you could do that with not need days, but like I would just loading land.
That looks good. Can I now...
can't really add dependencies that well. I had a former show the dependencies between the different things. Let's see if mind maps are helpful.
Not really. Well, not so important.
For now we can just know that I need to finish my model first to be able to create a channel banner and profile picture and all that.
I
Mute those dates. Could be really stupid. Upkeep it. Okay.
Okay.
So with that in mind, let's see what I already did in OBS, because I gotta admit to you guys, I kind of cheated a little bit. I already wanted to have a look at Godot, because I didn't want to be completely useless when I started this. Let's have a look. This is where you're at right now. I just imported over all the assets from Blender. I figured out how to do the eyes. They are actually working just on textured planes, which get their texture from a sub viewport. That's not so important right now. Anyways, so we see the eyes are done. That's basically it right now.
So
The face is done too. So next thing would probably be to figure out how to do a mouth, and I'm not really sure about that yet, because we have multiple like shapes that we have to interpolate between. Because with the eyes we just have this one thing cycle, that's easy enough, but with the mouth I'm going to have multiple shapes. So I have the smile left, smile right, and also the mouth opening. So let's just open.
yes.
Visual Studio. Yeah. Let's just open Visual Studio and see for now. Nope. Would parameters be in half by now? Of course, like that what I told us, just approximation. Just gonna duplicate now your face recognition script from there. So we have some of them here. I think on plot space blend shapes. I might just remove that for now. And then actually remove the whole flask thermal thing, because I don't need that. Upload the video capture. That's the video capture. Has. Okay. Super. Also. Like this. And if I run that now, we'll probably see my face tracking stop loading. Why did this won't work? Okay, this doesn't work. Wait, my face track stopped working. And this didn't work? Camera index out of range. Why? Think I'm still capturing them. Okay now. So you can see those are the blend shapes, then we just save the figure. And I'll start the face tracking then. Give me a second. Viel just better. Let's try again. Probably just yeah. So let's have a look. Like this. Oh man. Just handle. Create a new project. Call it out. How can I implement? That video target. Let's create a project. Call that blend shapes. Let's create mind map. So we have the eyes. I had mouth. And then we have some additional stuff. For eyes, we have the gig direction. And I have to blink. Blink cycle. Blink left. Then adjust. Mode. Interesting, it just doesn't show any mode there. Great. It's gray. It's a gray path. Whoever did the color profile didn't really think about it.
So we have
I look and each for left and right, obviously. I'm gonna write that down.
holy shit.
I will.
Up.
One.
I look down. Alright.
Those are the main eye keyframes that we have. Let's look at the ranging later. So
Mouth.
have jaw open. I think that's just basically the how far open my mouth is. And we have mouth smile.
Left and right.
And I think that's basically the emotions or the shape keys that we gonna concentrate on for now. We have the brows technically that we can do as an additional. It's ice squint, which could be interesting. Yeah, I don't know what else there really is that helps us make it look any more natural. We'll see. Maybe not the frowning, the mouth frowning. But I don't know how accurate that value is, because lots of these values exist but aren't really captured that well.
Okay.
Full size that. Can I change the kind? Let's just do that. It's a orangey color.
Okay.
Yeah, so those eye flag shapes I had already like prepared to implement. So that shouldn't be that big a problem. What's gonna be interesting is the now. Course. With the eyes, it was like relatively easy to have. But because this is just blinking, so this is just one kind of transformation that we're doing. And with the I do directions, that's just coordinates, so but it's also just transforming the texture that's projected and there.
But these
Jordan and Mad Smile, they both have to like access the same resource, and so we can't just have one-dimensional axis there, but we have to like two-dimensional axis, and the tricky thing is we actually need to transform the shape of the thing that we're drawing by there. So there's two options that I have thought about. Option number one is just to can I just like that as a note here? Option number one would be to treat it as basically a two-dimensional image plane. So that for each combination of jaw open and nod smile, I'll render a separate image, and like if for each axis or for each parameter we have 10 discrete values, I can render 100 images which just cycle through all of the value combinations. So that would be 100 images. The maybe better option, then also a little bit difficult option would be to like directly transform the shape of the mouth in Godot, but that's something that I have to figure out how to export a what's it called, a curve from Blender to Godot somehow, because I want to do it as a curve. That just makes things a lot easier. So that puts in exporting some are exporting curve to Godot and also exporting shade keys to Godot. So I want to first of all look into these. Because it would be the cleanest option of the two. And if I figure that out, I can also apply it to other aspects. For example, the eyes, if I really want to implement like squinting, I'll have to do that in similar way too. So let's try to look up on the internet if you can export curves from Blender to Godot. So that I'm reading is, I can also browse window over here. Kind of what I'm reading this, you can export it as a mesh that's obviously boxed. That would make those shape keys interesting. Because that I kind of don't want to have to move each vertex separately. I mean, probably would still be better than having to export a lot of pictures. DAD files. Okay, let's see if we can export a DAE, a Collab file from Blender. Just create a new file. Edit server. File. Export. I guess I need some plugin. Where's the plugin manager? Is it under preferences? I think so. Add-ons. Exactly. I guess they removed that. Oh, that's not helpful. See if I missed with Zielgruppe oder just missed file export. Colada. Okay. Still there. Very good. Documents. You do. Just export that as an untitled file command. Okay. There's that copy the camera and everything use it. Let's make that local. Didn't really export the code in it. I mean, still very useful for C setup and that stuff, but that is not terrible. So let's see if by any chance we can like copy the shape piece of a curve to a mesh. Make a copy of the curve action objects for each shape key. I just test that on this server format. Let's model our shape keys first of all. Like let's say shape key 1 just transforms the downwards, and shape key 2 transforms this inwards like this. Okay, so that does that. We copied within shape keys, so 2 pebbles. Each copy set the value to 1. Makes sense. Select all copies, convert to mesh. This object is the first selection. Function. Shape keys. Check specials. Specials. What's he talking about? From the shape key specials menu, the driver on the right of your mesh's empty list of shape keys. Properties app, select Strange shapes. Strange shapes. Okay. Can I delete all of the duplicates? That's great. Because I know you can export meshes wood shape keys to Godot somehow. I mean, in case of that, I can just export it as a animation. Great, so I guess let's get to remove that. Let's get to modeling. My mouth. Where? How do animate now look? Let me just find the reference image. So I guess I can't scale them together. That is unfortunate. Does our work just get done? So I'm trying to imitate right now is like sort of the brush stroke that you get from drawing the mouth organically. I'd say that's a pretty solid shape for the mouth in general. Let's actually add some geometry nodes to fill that mouth in. Curve. Vibrations, full curve, up. I kind of want that those curves on the side to be count. Select that and then okay, that works. Then from the little circle at the end. That kind of both was more straight on the top here. Is there a sensitive way to go about this? Well, for now, let's just roll with this. Oh. It's me to produce a private bit. So it doesn't go to absolute zero thickness. Alright, so let's add a shape key. Actually, I'm thinking about right now that I only have to do this for in one side. It's probably gonna be easier to model it for both sides and then just cut off them. So I actually know what I'm doing. So it's snagging me. We'll do this up a little bit. We'll take this eating a little bit. Let's actually rotate it. And let's make the top part of the curve a little bit less aggressively curved. Probably the same as the bottom part. Like this. Looks good to me. Okay. Let's add another shape key. Call it open. And let's see how that looks. Oh. So the top surface is slightly curved upwards. Bottom surface is curved outwards in that. So that I'm seeing that view. That's the top part be a little itchy. So bottom part be moved. Like that maybe. So all the texturing and all that will be done later in Godot. Then I'll write smile or that it's ever. And they don't want to pair it through that much. Makes sense. almost doable. Actually, that's for smiling. Let's pull out the middle part a little bit too. This. That was done. I love the middle part. Let's have the opening a bit that auto as it is. You like that? Okay, I'll just roll it as an now. Let's save that Blender document as mouth. Cool. Open. Of a base. Not copy of this. Select type read once. Let the mesh. Finish shapes. Awesome. Open needs to not have smile needs to not be open, and the base needs to not have anything else. Right. Oh, that's the closing. Dash. Those shapes. Those two. Seems to be worth to be that. Great. Let's see how we can get that into both. Hold on, there's a blend. Of course, I can't get the Blender and Pulp to work. Seems like I kind of rely on it being incorporated as a blend. That's unfortunate. Okay, you can export as to Godot engine in Blender somehow. Fine. Export.
Because I don't have that right now. It's probably a plugin.
Seems like they discontinued that. Just consume the GLTS doesn't support ranges. Okay, I guess it does work. Let's export it as a GLTF. You buy it. Mouth, dude. Okay. Zuerst kommt einfach als ein Dublin. Die Kom. People.
Shapes.
These items ducks. Smile? I guess those are limited. Okay. Great. So let's figure out how you get that. Shader and number. I think we can just override that too and just add that directly. Have that direct and the fakes. Some reason. And let me import that directly into the face frame. as a child. Logan. Right. That's on me here. Just had it smile so that I can move where up this. Alright, I also forgot. I forgot to make this a unfathered. It's yeah. Yeah, just do ribbon cut is that now that'll explode? Fine. Well, but it does explode, that would be helpful. Cannot be applied to mesh of shape keys. Okay.
Right.
I just. Alright, I can. I go back. Turn off. I apply the booty to before I add the shape key. Be applied to interactive shape keys. These objects run abstract keys related. I choose those.
Move the cube. Select all those.
And combine as shape keys. You can left with those two.
That works. Alright.
Export that. Fire back into Godot. And to the red face. Transform top level for now. Is it volume? Oh, okay. Let's just orient that to the face. Roughly at least. Scale it down a little bit. Still have to worry about face proportions at some point. On the eyes need to go a little bit more to be smaller. That's copy that. Invert the scale. That was the one scale. Figure out why they are slightly apart. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Actually, I could move that. Real. Have them both be the same thing. Cool. Nest. Right. Or being good.
Alright.
Oh, wait. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. That being that I changed the middle of this whole thing to the small side. And I can't do that because if I just mirror them, then I have original. So let's fix that before I forget that. And then we copy part back far enough. Let's just remove all of this. And make a new from the beginning. See, that's why you keep a reference. those are not liking during the smile cycle. And I can pull up both sides. Alright. Everything from the beginning. Copies of those. Those. Smile. And the red ones convert out of those. First set the values for those, that's right. Base doesn't have burst mine. Golden doesn't smile, smile doesn't have album. And what are those to mesh? Come side. Fade Smash as the first selection. Join as shakies. Now you don't have weekly under vertices anymore. That's unconventional. We just have man-made developer. Trending now among vertices there are. So they all have the same amount of vertices. Let's do smooth one after map. And switch doesn't work. Switch doesn't work. I did this. Change the album. Now doesn't it work right now? Reproduction statistics. Alright, this one has 25 vertices. This one has 25 vertices. This one has 25 vertices. They're all the same. Yeah, forget to apply them with the explained. Alright, selector space is selected. Trim in shapes. Right? Move OpenCI. Zack. And export that. Can I by any chance now just double that? Trying to worth the effort to leave it up. It's enough. Make that. And I just copy those values over. So I think that's going to happen right in here. I transforms to some from go in this. It's just orient that again. It's probably just copy the big. Let's treats that on top level. How do I rotate that to I wanted to do? Purple. And body move. Old move. That's the question. Is I can fly those transformations somehow? Matter that much. Great, I can ask that. Why can I start smiling pen here? Obviously, opening is not independent, but doesn't have to be. Great. To mouth. I need to figure out hate of all of this. Also, yeah. Gonna have this little ställe fixar. Alright, so you need a shader for that. So that shaded needs to have like some kind of on root side needs to be black, and then on the inside I will have the mouth texture. Really try just don't have like stylized tile like on the middle, center, bottom, whatever. So how do you do that? I think what's going to happen is I have a shader that somehow detects the edges, and everything else is going to be a predefined texture that I'm gonna render. Huh? And the tutorial online. Let's first copy someone else's work and then edit from that. Does was like a for some old version.
That is time?
Let's try this one. It doesn't seem to be in a mode. great that it gives you a hint what you have to do. That's not so great is that it just auto updates and you have no time to type it off. Just write that text file, copy it in. I thought a little bit that I get this stuff out. Was not. Sure. Mute once. Paste that in there. Screen job. Okay, so that just makes it transparent, I guess. Why? Why does it do that? Makes it transparent. That's let's try the other one that didn't work again. Wax pass. Shredding you. also like color here. Colors too. See. Just mod had that be tight. Mesonetos flag. Balloon protein strania. Tu. Source color, I guess. Oh.
Okay. Source. Color.
Pegasus. Her video is caught differently.
Source.
The albedo, let's see what hint albedo has changed to. Alright, shit. 62 something. Still doesn't do anything. Ah, wait, Dusky's open. There's an edge there. That's great. Let's see what they're doing. They edge color. So basically the shader has to separate the unbeatable edge color as the correct colors. Or just change it the way around. If I want the edge feedback. Let's okay, so if the rules are different, the edge is drawn. Let's enable left above the right. Screen text. So increase the distance that we look for neighbors. Let's see what happens if we change them back. That seems to be working, kind of. Set that to 10. Whoops. Why doesn't calculate enable? So let's see what. So we now can draw a die around that. That's something. Kind of. Oh. Kind of like it to not draw along the left. Okay. Would be great if the line thickness was consistent no matter how far away it is. Needs all time body. This is so camera perspective. Let's just see how it looks now. Alright, we can do a little bit smaller. Let's actually have that mount thickness as parameter. Let's just use it better for you. Pass that SO. Mode. Is that the 5? Great. So now I'm just gonna assume that contrast have the same. Let's actually have that line parameter as do things, maybe? Sample? To the line way left and line way right. And have that be minus what most that design walked right. Wobei noch seit line with the head to bow.
Okay.
Bobo. And here it's manipulate to both. Wir werden sammeln, glaube ich. And see it works. Great. And we can always change the line weight later on. So I assume the next step would probably be to render the inside texture in Blender. We can say the outside texture to something that we like. Let's have the green, darkish green. Just calling the color. Is that here? Okay. Let's first try setting the albedo texture here. So just if I just take that on the eye texture somewhere, it seems to be taking that no problem, but the transparency is lost. And I do want to keep the transparency, so let's have a look at the shader again. Why are we saying the albedo need the color? It's my question. Could just be setting the color that will allow us to take the transparency with us. So it can move right way. Did that at some point. See, I wish to set color here. As I said, it's up. You can say P. And then set the transparency effort P. Doesn't it need to add the color now? Why not? On this engine, should it have space? So, wait, canvas item edge detach shader right here. Let's see if that works. Ooh! Even better. Wait a second. It's just paste that in here. That needs to work. Nice. Alright, let's just go back to the other option and see if we can make that work.
Is there no way to sit? I guess. Of course I can't.
Of course I can't.
Isn't there a desiderate option? Alpha, I guess. Alpha is a thing that decreases.
Okay, for now.
Set the
Transparency.
That's the first shadow. Achoo. I can't just directly use this shadow. What does the first shadow actually do?
Okay, that.
Is that sets the alpha in some way? It's not really what I want. No. Is it?
Oh, no, wait, I guess now the edge detection detects edges.
What's going on?
Oh, wait, that seems to work. Question mark? Titus? His attack diminishes tone. Multifanger. So now the problem is I can set the alpha. If I set the edge detection shader recognizes everything that's behind, which is kind of a cool effect, but so the transparency here, the first shader pass got smell.
Wait, basically.
Would you if I could get around the whole transparency thing somehow?
How? Any way to...
Let's have a look back at the other thing that I saw. Cause this kind of looks like it could, as long as
Wait, I can...
yes, I can. I can put this the mouth on a subview board. Render the edges. Set the albedo to like render the edges as contrasting colors. So like have everything that's black and render the edges light. And then I can take that image from the subfield board and use it and basically multiply it in another shader with my transparent material. Let's do that. So let's add a let's add a subview board. That is called like something like edges left. Let's copy that mesh into the subview board. Hope that. And now let's see how that subview board looks by just looking at it in a texture rectangle. There's nothing there. That's not what I really do compose. Right, because that now is a 3D object, and I can't see the 3D object in the 2D subview board, so let's make that a 2D object. Like, no, I can't do that. Yes, a camera? How does that? I guess the subview board now gets the camera image. Okay, so man, I kind of don't want to have the render list in 3D. Kind of want to render it 2D first. Can I just like add a mesh view? And if I add a mesh instance, and for the mesh, can I now use the mesh?
that creating a mesh from source. How do I create a new? Can't I? The array mesh, so it says. I can't change the source of the image. How can I link to different source? No. Paste it. Okay. Guess that works. Still doesn't show up. So that's interesting. Because it's invisible. That's also notated. That's not helpful. So, model that showdown that doesn't help. doesn't really work the way I want it to work. Guess I could render him on screen. And interpret pro render both at the same time? Right, so now I have this edge object. I can add a camera to that. With a 3D object? That makes sense for the other. So let's add a camera. Position the camera in a way that it can see the mouse clearly. Orient the camera. Does Godot support see what oh okay, so it's Peter doesn't see. So the interviewer, I guess it's a piece of viewport. Basically, that doesn't change a whole lot. Just turn it to variable. Okay. Oh, that's the view look. Why is the view? I don't. Okay. Just need to become smaller again. Leave it small. There. Okay, so the camera can now get us the image of the edges. Let's actually set up the shader to what probably use that.
Where's the shader? Okay. Where is the shader?
That has a service ensure override. I guess I have to make
Link? No?
Does that separate aus? From those. How do I separate it down? Which parable bist du? Meistens die. Das ist eine Tür und Bauer.
Okay. So let's
Hier.
that.
Out. Right. Okay. I was just blind, it looks like. So I already did that. I did that with the with the eyes. That was also then the separate mask, which then is added to better in the shaders. So I just have to redo that. First of all, let's see if I can actually like link those blend shapes together. Hope that a script. Why does if you got more than matching up? I know having the feeling that the camera render is taking for ages, and that could be a problem as takes too long to refresh. We'll see. Any case, I probably want to add a script here, which just sets all the values. Sit. Then we can copy that wind shape, fruits, with the same for light. And let's see if that works. And we have to do the same see? That does not exist like that. Actually, it would be more sensible to set all those values at once. Yeah, probably makes more sense.
Okay.
Let's see. We want to set the texture of the mouth based on the texture that we get from the viewport. Let's just now set that as a standard input texture. Yeah, I did do that. Boop. As it says, to transparent. Mon. Shouldn't be transparent. Transparency is disabled. What is actually happening? Oh no, it's in the mesh. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, that's gray. Yeah. It's a lot of sense because the background texture is gray. Wait. Like, what if I actually just rendered the whole mouth as a separate viewport?
And then overlay it on there later. And the probably easier.
Like if I copied the whole... just had a separate thing that just loose about overlaying that and that just overlays that on the base texture. But I could actually, yeah, let's have a separate viewport where I import that viewport texture, or where I import the mouth texture and use that viewport texture as a mask. Yeah, sounds reasonable. Let's create that set viewport. That have the same dimensions. And there I'll just have texture rectangle. And that doesn't show up. That's okay. Okay, I need to.
Okay.
So we now get that texture rectangle. The standard. That's also not really, I mean, works probably that way around too. Let's have this. Let's actually have both keyboards be transparent.
Transparent background.
Transparent background. And
Then let's add
can like add texture to the texture. Remote drive. So let's just add a new texture rectangle. We'll give them the texture. And the snippet to find the shaded texture right now. It's really cute. Okay, let's remove that again. I actually don't need to share a rectangle here. I need something that can take a true hook. So right sprites can do that. To you? Ooh, is it real land? Merely does I don't. We don't have the. Let's just have a rectangle. That is big enough. Oh, it's a. Yeah, we have a rectangle that takes up the entire viewport. See, we can just tell it, take this texture from the keyboard. No, we cannot. The it shows it rendering, but it doesn't. Okay, jetzt statt ein Shake-Menü, du shell wo. See if we can change the color. The carbon. Because später canvas item. That's not free. Wage. What am I doing well? Okay. Good. Just applied the shader to run position. So how do we get the shader in there? This one did that somehow? Center 3D, so did it? Texture. Smooth. Paper texture. Edges. Okay. To D somehow uncenter that? That makes sense. Let's see. Great. You're getting somewhere. Can like scrunch it together? Divide in by 2? Or there? Doesn't that?
Okay, that makes it bigger.
That makes it smoother. Great. We're getting somewhere. Okay. How does this looting? Good. Somehow a little bit warped. That's not good. It's a little bit too. I guess letting the pretty good. Can you like rotate that? Wait, I can just rotate the mission temporarily. Location. Leave. Now I want to change the alpha value primarily.
So, color of alpha.
Screen. Let's try screen. What does screen look? Well, that's just what we want. Okay. particular. So call that mask texture instead. Popular doesn't carry a alpha value for some reason. But I will deliver to select for alpha. I will. Hint back to 5.0. Okay, so that didn't work. I know because probably my mask textures into our budgets. Great, that's where we're going. So L. Or they just I need to white. That's good. So now I have the edge. So that's good. Okay, action I want the edge thinking about it. So that's the texture for let's see. And so that's the edge. We can have that. That we get out of here. And I'll take the alpha value, that's everything. So if I multiply by it, the alpha by the with the inside texture, and then I just overlay edge. And just somehow figure out how to ask the edge. What did I subtract this? Let's see. That takes away the edge. Remember? Let's just say times. Let's to make some to that's an empty alpha values. I kind of missed act. Wait, can I just more? I can multiply that with that edge with I set pick equals of all the kind of values. That just gives me massage. So that's an absolute value. Now can I just multiply that absolute value just copy that? And so data high of that right now. The flopped. Okay. That's the inside. That's the edge. It's just also have room made everything. And it would just be the answer. No. Okay. And now I could go ahead and color A. Let's set color A to outside. Green. Okay, so getting somewhere. And on the inside, we have to set the color equal to the inside texture that we're gonna do later. And I think for now, I'd say we'd stop here. We've come pretty far. That's pretty good actually, I think. For a project. So let's see where this leads. Let's save all the documents. What have we done today? That's the thing that I have to see. Yeah, working on the mouth. That's what's happening right now. So that's great, I think. To intro address. So let's actually add a new dependency to the mouth and have that be add a new dependency to the mouth, have that be the have map shape. Awesome. And then actually see mouse ray.
Yeah.
Say yes, then not it done.
Yeah. Working on the mouth shaders. And the mouth textures will go in the next week.
Oh. Screen up at the next one. Well, in next screen. So I think it's going along pretty well. I'm gonna thank you for watching. So goodbye, end the stream.
Sorry about that.